So many around college football have collectively turned their attention to one of two things, either spring practices or the class of 2024, which is really starting to heat up. But this has created a situation where the transfer portal is almost out of sight, out of mind. But that is not the case for every coach in the nation. Because here recently, Coach Prime gave an interview stating not only do they expect to revisit the transfer portal, they absolutely plan to take more talent out of it. Comments that took many around college football by surprise, but today we need to break down why these comments are not surprising in the least. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you surprised Coach Prime in Colorado plan to revisit the transfer portal? And then let me know the position group you're most interested in. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it, and if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions seem small, but they are massive to content creators such as myself, and we're on a push to 20,000 subscribers. I'd love to have you part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And as I stated in the intro, everybody in college football has collectively turned their attention to either spring practices or the class of 2024. And this makes sense. With the first window being closed in the transfer portal, it absolutely makes sense to give the primary attention to the class of 2024, which is really starting to heat up, and spring practices, because that's what's presently in front of you. But Coach Prime is cognizant of the needs of his team and is not forgetting the transfer portal and its existence. And if you've been around the channel for any extended period of time, you've probably heard me talk about this before. The first transfer portal window gave us fireworks. There is no doubt about that. But I think there's a notion around college football that people expect the second transfer portal window to be quiet, to be almost boring, and I don't think that could be further from the truth. I think the second transfer portal window is going to give us fireworks just like the first one did. Want to know why? Because not only do players have a better understanding of where they sit on the depth chart, so now people are going to be making more informed, educated decisions about whether or not they're going to stay at their current institution, but the coaches now can make more informed, educated decisions about the needs of their team. We have to remember, Coach Prime has not coached a down for Colorado. He got there and instantly started attracting talent. Now that he's in the building, now that he gets to see spring practices, he can have a more complete understanding of the needs of this team and how the transfer portal can help them get the needs of this team. Coach Prime is just trying to cover his bases. Coach Prime is trying to make sure he's putting himself in the best possible area to succeed. But speaking of covering all of your bases, did you know that in 2022, the United States had its second worst year ever in terms of data compromises? And not only was it the second worst year in terms of data compromises, but there was a substantial amount of capital loss coming in at $10.2 billion in 2022 alone, which is exactly why I'm so excited to talk with you all about today's sponsor, Aura. Anybody can find anything online, including your name, address, phone number, or even your relatives' information. And all of this is possible because data brokers selling your information to scammers, telemarketers, robocallers, or anybody that wants to learn more about you. But this is exactly where Aura comes in. Aura will help you identify these data brokers and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and they will even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists. If you use the link shown on screen and found in the description, Aura will hook it up with 2 free weeks so that you can see just how many people are after your data. Plus, Aura monitors your emails and passwords to see if they were involved in a data break and exposed on the dark web, and will give you recommendations on what to do. Aura has a VPN, a password manager, real-time credit and identity theft monitoring, internet parental controls, and protects your devices from malware. It truly is the one-stop shop for user protections. Plus, they offer different bundles so that you can either take care of yourself or the whole family at an awesome rate. So let Aura keep you safe. Go to the link in my description to claim your 2 free week trial and start protecting yourself online. Once again, go to aura.com/ATTS to start protecting yourself online with a 2-week free trial, link in the description. Thank you so much to Aura, and back to the video. But as I stated, there are some around college football that were surprised by Coach Prime's comments. They were surprised because Coach Prime already has the #1 class in transfer portal acquisitions, and they have taken several guys out the transfer portal, 20 plus if I'm not mistaken. So many people are wondering wondering how many more people are you taking and are you running guys off? And this to me was a little bit of a wild take. And here's why. Because it is Coach Prime's job not only to win football games, but to make sure he's putting his players in the best possible place to succeed. If he's in a situation where he knows, hey, I really could use some guys on the defensive line that are more conducive to success, and he's got 5 guys in the transfer portal who he thinks will make their team better, is he not supposed to take them? Is he not supposed to take those guys because that will then help him win games and it will put everybody on the defense in a much better place to be successful? If he has more faith in his defensive line, the linebackers can do their job easier because the defensive line will plug up holes. Now they can run free. You get the painting I'm trying to paint you all. I understand the immediate take is, well, they've already taken so many guys from the transfer portal. Is he just going to be running kids off? But it is Coach Prime's job not only to win football games for Colorado, but to put his players in the best possible scenarios for success. And if that means going and getting more talent out the transfer portal to ensure that his players are in the best places to succeed, well, then that's exactly what he has to do. I'm not surprised by this in the least, and this really goes back into something we've talked about several times, whether it was the speech Coach Prime gave, where if you're not willing to compete, there's the door, and people were taken aback by this. These are all things that happen in college football locker rooms. This is not unique. People, I don't think, realize that there are situations after spring practices where coaches will tell players, hey, this is where you currently sit on the depth chart, and they're telling them that way the player can make an informed decision. If I want to stay at this institution, I'm perfectly free to do so, but if I really want to get playing time, I might need to look elsewhere. I had a really good friend play college football, and he was telling me there were so many people on his team that had transferred to his institution from outside institutions, and one of the things he always told me is those guys appreciated when a coach at least had the honesty to tell them, hey, if you want to stay here, you are more than welcome. But you might be number 3 on the depth chart. There might be a 4 or 5-star guy coming in. If you really want to play, you might need to look elsewhere. That right there is just honesty. I understand it's not a nice feeling. It's not nice that this situation occurs, but I would much rather a coach be honest with the player and say, hey, you only have a limited time to play college football, and right now you can stay here, but you're probably going to be a depth piece. If you really want to play, you might need to look elsewhere. And there are countless times where those guys go elsewhere, and all that was needed was a change of scenery. Sometimes it's as simple as that. We've seen guys transfer from top institutions to other top institutions and ball out. And it's not that the coaching was just substantially better, it's just that sometimes a change of scenery is needed. So I was not surprised in the least by Coach Prime's comments, and I think a lot of the pushback is in some ways a bit facetious, because I think these things happen across college football. The difference is Coach Prime's voice is going to carry further than a lot of other coaches, because inevitably there's more attention around Colorado and Coach Prime right now. But that's part of the reason why he has the ability to go back in the transfer portal and add more players in. Because players want to play for him. And I think he'd be doing himself and his players a disservice if after spring practice, he realized there was a need and didn't address it. So I think this is an interesting conversation. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and personally, I don't get the outrage I've seen online. To me, he's only doing what he was hired to do, which is why I'm a little bit confused, but this is exactly why. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.